Welcome to Show and Tell, a show about cavorting, conflict, and the game of cat and mouse. I'm Carmen.
And I am Fred.
And tonight, we're going to talk about episodes 1 through 7 of Love Island UK. We're going to do a very quick recap of episodes 1 through 7. Episode 1 begins with an introduction of all the cast of characters, and then of course the first recoupling of the season. So we actually did a video about our first impressions of all the Islanders for our first video, so we're gonna link it below. The host of the show, Laura Whitmore, comes in and she's like, okay, it's time. So this is the exciting part of the first episode. The boys come down. We also explain the show in the first episode that we did. So you might want to take a look at that if you don't know how the show works. But the boys come in one by one. The first one's Jake. The only person who steps up for Jake is Liberty. She steps up, he picks her. And then we have Aaron come down, and Aaron couples up with Shannon, but Shannon did not step up for Aaron.
No.
Faye and Kaz stepped up for Aaron, but he was like, sorry girls, I actually want that one, I think you said. Or no, number 5. I want number 5.
Number 5.
And then Faye makes a comment and she's like, well, I guess I dodged a bullet with that one. Can't even remember the girl's name.
Yeah.
Is that a good accent?
It was actually better than mine.
Next is Hugo. He comes down. I was right. No one steps forward for the poor man. But he chooses, no, that's not right.
Yeah. Nobody stepped up for him, and he chose Faye.
Oh yes, okay, and he chooses Faye. Toby comes down. Toby is the football player, and he comes down, and at this point, there's only Sharon.
There's
Sharon and Kaz are the only 2 left. Toby comes down, he's biracial of some kind, and I'm like, okay, surely this man will choose one of the lovely, beautiful, gorgeous ladies left, because he's also a man of color. No.
He did not.
He didn't.
That is not the decision that young man made.
No. And like one thing if he like would have chosen Shannon or something,
yeah.
But no. He comes down, takes a look at him. Faye.
And her. Right. And then which sends Hugo to the subs bench, which we talked about in the first episode.
Yes.
And now Faye and Toby are coupled up, and the last guy walks in, and let's get to that because I want to get to a point.
So the last man who walks in is Brad, and he was one of my favorites in the introductory episode. He walks in, and 3 women step up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Faye, who has not stepped up at this point. Liberty, who has been with Jake and has not stepped up until now, except for Jake, but hasn't stepped up in the interim until now.
Right.
And then Sharon, who has not stepped up at all this far. Did you want to say something before I tell them?
What did Faye tell us in her interview? The tits are always out.
Yes.
And then she made the point to say, that's the first thing the cats see. And so it is hilarious that 3 dudes picked her. And do you think that's the first thing that they saw when they walked out?
Absolutely. She's in a bright blue
The big dogs was poking like that.
swimsuit.
They was poking.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I thought about when we rewatched. I was like, man, she said it in her interview. Like when I rewatched our episode and like she made her comment and I was like, 3 dudes walked down and they saw them big dogs out there.
Big dogs, okay. No,
But they are. Like she walked in and she was like, when she was looking at size and she was like, oh yeah.
I want the Cadillac version.
I want the big ones. Yeah, the Suburban.
The family.
the family.
The family size.
Yeah.
That's anywho, so Brad comes down and at this point now, there is
2 single women.
Hugo on the subs bench. The only 2 women left who are single, who don't have a man standing next to them, are Sharon and Cass. Brad, who is white, and we cringe and we feel a type of way because we know before he even chooses that
neither one of those 2 getting picked.
They're not getting picked.
Like neither one of those 2 are.
And I think they know. Cass didn't even step up. And this is the last man. She's like, I know you ain't picking. You are not checking for me. Like,
and I already been turned out once. So let's go. I'm gonna sit back here. And
I'm gonna wait for the subs.
Right.
He comes down. He chooses Faye.
Mm-hmm.
And then Toby has to skitter on over to the subs bench. Hugo walked in first, so he gets to choose the girl who he wants to couple up first out of Sharon and Cass. Now, at this point, there is Hugo, who is white, and Toby, who is biracial, but who chose Faye, a blonde, white woman. Hugo gets to choose first. Now, we know who he's about to choose.
I think most women who come on the show who are women of color know, like they watched the show before.
I know, but
yeah.
So of course Hugo chooses Sharon, and then Kaz and Toby are together by default. But anywho, we have our 5 couples now.
And the last thing that they hear is the host, Laura Whitmore, saying, ladies, if I were you, I would go hard. Because you don't know how long. You can't hold your man and you're just hanging out. So,
and
then
you better get grafting. They play a game. It's the first game of the season. Mind you, the games don't mean a thing ever. They're just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah. And
the game is you pick a little sheet of paper out of a box, and it's a dare, and you have to do it. So Jake gives Liberty a lap dance. I hate when the guys have to give the girl a lap dance. Like, it's so awkward. I'm just like, stop!
I feel like you hate all the lap dances, period.
Yeah.
You hate that challenge. You hate that challenge regardless of who's giving the lap dance, but you cringe hard when this dude's trying to
just so funny. Because it's like,
I find it entertaining. Like, it's
entertaining as hell, but I'm just like, no, I don't want to see it. Because it's literally always just like a thrust. Which I know that's all y'all have, really, but like, it's just thrusting and it's just in the air, like in just air. And it's just funny.
To be fair, Jake's wasn't bad. Like, to be fair, of all the ones
it wasn't bad. Like, it was not bad.
The way he did it and like what he acted, because most dudes thrust in air, he at least made body contact.
Yeah, that's true.
And like made a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like he used her hands and put it on like his chest and stuff like that. Took off his shirt.
His wasn't bad. The rest of the dares are that Toby has to suck Kaz's toes, which really should have been Jake's dare because he likes little white toes. And Kaz did have little white toes, but not, I don't think, in the way. I mean, I know that Jake meant nails, but I don't think that's all he meant.
I like it.
That's not exactly. He meant the whole.
I like the whole toe. I mean, the whole toe, the nail and in the flesh.
Yes. Ew.
That's funny. That's also awful.
Little white toes. I like sucking toes.
Sharon had to suck Hugo's earlobe.
Yes. With red lipstick.
With red lipstick. I was surprised at this. I did not expect Shannon to go in like she did. I also fully expected Hugo to react like he did because he's kind of seemed like a little virgin.
Yeah.
Like or not a virgin, like his earlobe sucking. He was a virgin to earlobe sucking.
Gotcha.
And she looked like a professional. And so from listening to her interviews and everything, like I didn't expect her to be the game player or to be the person who jumps out and does the dance.
Episode 2 starts with this woman. We find out her name is Chloe.
The UK version of Valley Girl.
Yeah. She's 25. She's a marketing executive from Bicester, which is in Oxford, England. And she's very tall, blonde, the boobs. Kind of looks like Faye, but more kind of natural version.
Yeah.
She steps out into the courtyard in front of the Love Island house. Mm-hmm. She calls the guys from outside and says, "Hi, I'm Chloe. I am outside. You have the option to come outside to meet me or not, but it's up to you."
Well, it's early days.
It's the second day.
Second day, and they all are gonna go out there and meet her because why not? Like I'm not in a relationship just yet. They all go out to meet her in the courtyard. They have a conversation. Nothing really comes about from the conversation just yet, but we learn that it's a text message in front of everybody that says, in 24 hours, she's gonna have to pick a guy, which means there's gonna be one odd woman out, and we'll learn what happens to that odd person.
He's gonna be single.
Yeah, and then so that's how episode 1 ends and episode 2 begins, and then we go from there.
They have a game called Horny Devils, which, remember, if you watched episode 1 of our show, we told you games don't matter, and they really don't.
You learn more about people's character from these games, more so than you learn any value. Like, you get valuable information. The game just doesn't, it's a framework.
Yeah.
For you to gain more information and more insight into the personality of the people who you're gonna be meeting over these next several episodes. When we talked about this is the valuable information that you get because you know the game doesn't mean anything. So what this game does is it helps you figure out who really likes who, even though they're coupled up with this person. You figure out, all right, I'm in this couple that I really don't like. Let me see what Shawty hitting on, and I can create a spark by getting this kissing. So yeah, you're getting valuable information. It's just
not really pertaining to the game.
Yeah.
So that's episode 2. Episode 3. Episode 3 starts with tonight. Chloe gets to decide who she wants to couple up with. She picks Aaron.
The bruh. Who did you think she was gonna pick? Who did you think she was gonna pick?
I thought she was gonna pick Brad.
Okay.
Even though I know she didn't really like him that much.
I think everybody's really put off on Buddy. Why do you think she picked him?
So I think she's very aware of the game of Love Island, which is trying to get to the end. You have to stay in a couple for the duration of the show. So I think she chose someone who she thinks likes and is attracted to her enough, because she knows that guys are about to come in after her. She's a girl, guys come in next. And so she knows she can bide her time with basically just choosing someone that's good enough until she can hop on to the next one. And who I think she thinks will return the favor, for choosing them or something.
I just thought about this. You know why I thought she chose him? She wanted to see, because she chose him as the best kisser. And Sharon kissed him twice, and she said he was a great kisser. So that may have influenced her decision. Also, producers may have influenced her decision.
Yeah, I think, well, so Chloe chooses Aaron. Then Shannon gets a text that says, you are single
Yeah.
and you have been dumped from the island.
Not only are you single, but now you gotta leave.
Bye.
Yeah.
So, mind you, this has never happened this early in Love Island. Normally, they get to stay for a little bit, they bring in boys, and then they recouple, and then whoever is single leaves. But they never cut an original cast member this early.
I think that was spur of the moment though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was definitely, they had about 36 hours of information saying that this young lady is not trying to get to know any of these dudes, and she is doing what Chloe may have been doing by choosing Aaron, is biding her time to figure out who she really wants to be with. Like, hey, if they're sending another guy, or they're sending multiple guys, which is gonna be multiple because you're gonna want uneven numbers on the girls and guys side. So, because somebody has to go home at some point. I think they made a judgment call, and they kind of put everybody on notice that if you're not going to try to even feign any interest in playing the game, then we will send you home. I think it was great for shock value, and I think it was great to let them know, like, hey, like you might want to try to get in here, and like these are the folks that are in here, and yeah, you need to be in here trying to find love on this island.
And I think because in the Horny Devils competition, Toby tried to kiss her, and she was like, no. She gave him the cheek, and he just hugged her because he was like, basically like, F you, like, no, you're not gonna play me like that. But I think, to be fair to her,
I didn't have a fist bump.
To be fair to her, some people just don't like to kiss random people that they just met.
True.
Like, I don't know that I could go. I mean, I probably would, just, I guess because I would know, by watching the show that, like, I would have to do that. But it's still awkward for some people, and some people just aren't naturally that physical with someone that you don't know. So, okay, fair. But I think what happened is that she sold herself as, I'm down, I'm fun, because they kept, like, that's how they introduced her at the beginning. They're like, she's fun, she's, I'm Scottish, and like, I'm crazy, and like, and she just was not like that. She sold a bill of goods to get on the show, even though, she's gorgeous, so that helps. But I think, she wanted to give off this fun, fun-loving personality that just ain't her. And then she got on and realized, oh crap, like I have to actually act like this, and I'm not comfortable with these dudes, and I don't like any of these dudes, I don't like who I'm partnered with, and I'm just gonna wait.
I'm not gonna kiss these boys in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna bide my time, like Chloe, to wait until the new dudes come in, and hopefully one of them work. And if not, like, I'm just deal with it then. But I think she was biding her time.
Yeah.
And the producers were like, sorry, we don't have time. This is a show, and this is not.
You can find love, but you have to find it out.
Yeah.
You can't find it up in here.
Yeah. So I read after that she did say she feels that she was dumped because she wasn't participating in the kissing challenges and stuff like that.
And that's part of, like, because if you think about it, that's a big part of the show. It's like getting people to do things that are appealing to, that are sexual, that would be appealing to that demographic of the audience. Mm-hmm. And if you got 5 girls over there who decide, oh no, kiss me on the cheek or give me a hug, like I don't want to kiss you in the mouth, it's like,
it gives them ideas of like, I don't want to participate either.
Right, and then you don't have the show that I think people are interested in anymore. And so they were like, all right, this is how you want to act. And I think that may have been the straw that brought the camel's back. It's like, all right, maybe you're not interested in these guys, but you're going to play these games. Yeah. And if not, then we're going to find somebody who will.
Yeah. Which is like sad, because I mean, we as an audience are interested in those physical interactions, which says something about us, fine.
Right, true.
But I totally get where she's coming from, but like, you also have to know that you have watched the show, presumably going into it, if you're a smart human being.
Yeah.
And you know this is what is called for.
Right. But that's also like the.
You have to be open.
You have to be open. Yeah, you have to be open to, because there are folks who are coming in there like, I mean, we won't talk about people who haven't made it in there yet, but like there are, you just
previous seasons where you have people who they're like, she's not my type, but then
I would have never like saw that I would have been with this person and like they hit it off, and so.
Do you think? Because I really, really do feel like, because we were so shocked that Chloe chose Aaron, and I really feel like it was a producer that kind of, because she wasn't really into any of the dudes that much.
Yeah.
And I feel like a producer was like, look, you could choose Brad, but you really don't like him that much. He talks too much. You could choose Jake, but Liberty and Jake really get along, and you're gonna cause all this drama. Do you really want to be the girl that causes drama in the first 2 episodes? Or you said Aaron was a good kisser. You know Shannon doesn't like him, so you're not gonna cause any rifts. So why not choose Aaron?
Yeah.
Knowing that they don't like Shannon in the show. And so she chooses him. Because she doesn't really give an answer other than, oh, he makes me feel comfortable. He's the one that I can sleep in a bed with. You know who would probably be the most comfortable to sleep in a bed with? Hugo.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just don't buy it. And I feel like a producer wiggled their way into her brain and was like, girl, you need to choose this man because, you know, Shannon don't like him. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't rule that out at all. Yeah.
They have a game later where they play beer pong, and then if someone gets a ball in the cup, they have to drink, and then there's something on the bottom of the cup. That's another dare. And so he gets a dare that says you have to kiss the islander you fancy the most, and you have to kiss the islander you fancy the least. Right. Fancy meaning the person that you're most or least attracted to. So he kisses Chloe as the person he finds the most attractive.
Right.
And then he kisses Faye, the person he fancies the least. Mind you, fancy means that you find them attractive, and they've only been in there 2 days, so it's not like they have a whole lot to go on.
Right.
Besides physical looks.
Physical attraction.
Yeah. And Faye and Chloe, like, if they're, I don't know measurements, but if they're far away,
they're 30 yards away from you.
They look very similar.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense that, to anyone in the house at least, that he kisses both of them when they look very similar to each other. But he's coming at it, like in a few conversations that they've had, he doesn't find her attractive outside of physical attraction.
I'm glad he did it the way he did it, because had I been in there, the way I would have handled it is, I would have kissed, if I fancied Chloe, I'd have kissed Chloe or whoever I fancied. And the person I least fancied, if that was Faye, I wouldn't have kissed Faye, I'd have kissed somebody else, not to embarrass her on national TV.
Yeah.
And like I'd have kissed like one of the guys on the cheek or something like that. Like, all right, I'm not into, like, if we can go through, if we talk about the islander, because that's the question that was asked, which islander do you fancy the least? It wasn't the girl, it was the islander. So I'd kiss one of the guys on the cheek or some shit like that. And then, but I'm glad because they talked about it, they had like a little debriefing in a small group afterwards, and Sharon was like, he should have kissed me or Cass, like, we know you don't like us. And the guys were like, well, that's not the game. And he's not playing the game. It was like, which person you fancy the least? He fancies Faye the least, so he kissed Faye. I would have handled it like I would have handled it, because I'm not a relationship expert. This is just how I would have handled it personally. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad he handled it the way he did, because he was honest, and he did. And then he went back and tried to apologize, and like, you know, I didn't mean to embarrass you, stuff like that. And you know, try to offer a peace offering and everything. So yeah.
She's like, don't make me feel like a dick.
Don't make me feel like that.
Episode 4, there were new arrivals, Chugs and Liam. Chugs is a bucket hat manufacturer. Liam, who's 21, and he's 6'6".
6'6".
6'6", and very attractive brunette guy. They come in, and the UK had voted for Sharon and Faye to go on a date with them. So Sharon goes on a date with Chugs, and Faye goes on a date with Liam.
Faye is into him. He is into getting in that house and staying. And staying.
Yeah. When they return from the date, she's like, I want to hold hands, knowing that when she walks into the house, it's gonna be like, oh, they must have really gotten along. They're holding hands.
Yeah.
So she just wanted to
stir the pot a little bit.
Episode 5. The only really interesting thing is that Chugs talks to Chloe, and he's like, "You're my type," and then proceeds to ask her to put sunscreen on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Chloe's like, "Oh, is this your move?" And like, I can't tell if she likes
what kind of
her or
sunscreen
not.
do they use?
Oh, did y'all not notice all of the product placement that is in this episode? And it's definitely been throughout all of them, but like the blatant, obvious, very, very obvious product placement in this episode. It's like anytime they have someone's face, it's like, like, it's actually hilarious.
Shout out to Soul Tan.
And I'm pretty sure
Soul Tan is cutting a check.
And you know, I didn't even look up the name of the company. I think I just remember it being Sultan because it was just like pummeled into us, and that could be the wrong name, but I just went off from
I think that it's got to be right because Soul is sun in Spanish,
Yeah.
and Tan obviously.
Yeah, but it was just hilarious.
You want to have a good discussion about sunscreen and the carcinogens that they put in sunscreen. Shout out to my dog COD Decatur Music at Decatur Music on Twitter and Instagram. We have a show called Give Me Some Headlines. Head over there and check out our show at Give Me Some Headlines. GIMMESOM Headlines. But you know, shameless plugs.
Shameless plug.
So in episode 5, the major point is there is a recoupling. In this episode, the women will get to choose. So there will be 2 odd men out, and there will be a consequence for the 2 odd men out.
And mind you, it's like someone has just been sent home.
Yeah.
So
everybody's kind of on edge in this episode.
Yeah.
So they get to the recoupling. The 3 that we know are foregone conclusions. Kaz does choose Toby. Kaz chooses Toby.
Yeah.
And then
Sharon
chooses Aaron because we have seen them talk about how they want to get together. And then third, Liberty chooses Jake. And so the 2 women that are up in the air are Faye. She chooses 4th. And she goes through her whole spiel, but she's already told you she's gonna choose Liam, leaving my man Hugo kind of hanging in the wind. My girl Clay steps up and she saves our dog Hugo.
Did you think she was gonna choose Hugo?
I did think she was gonna choose Hugo. Okay. I did not think she was gonna choose Brad. Like, she can't talk to him.
Brad, but I thought maybe she might choose Chugs.
Nah. Chugs is cool. I don't think nah. Episode 5 ends with each one of those gentlemen who have not been picked, Chugs and Brad, receiving text messages saying that here comes a new woman. New woman walking the house.
Who will choose their fate.
She has 24 hours to choose between those 2 guys. Can I tell you something? I don't like that. This woman comes in here and we gonna limit her choices to these 2 guys.
Yeah.
What if she don't like these 2 guys when everybody else has had free reign to talk to anybody they want to?
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like this young lady's gonna go far in the show because of her personality.
Who's this young lady?
Rachel is her name. We learned that we do learn who she is at the end of episode 5. Rachel is her name. She's a black woman, and she has 24 hours to choose between Brad and Chugs.
But Rachel's gorgeous, so we'll see.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. The faces that I saw when Rachel walked in were Aaron's face of like damn, and then Brad, who was like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then Chugs was like, crickets. Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
but you can tell.
I'm about to
Chugs-
lose.
but
I'm
you-
about to go home.
I don't know if we mentioned this, but Chugs and Hugo know each other.
Yes.
And you can tell they know each other.
Yeah.
And they kind of like the same woman. Type of woman, which is a white woman.
Faye. No,
Faye.
they don't like Faye. Chugs doesn't like Faye. Chugs likes Chloe. But yes.
Yeah.
The same
but
phenotype of sorts.
phenotype, right. As a woman, you coming into the show and you know like the premise of the show, but like how do you wrap your mind around tonight I'm gonna have to sleep in the bed with a complete stranger? Because the first night we met, you slept in my crib. We didn't sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to stay here
Yeah.
because I didn't know you really.
Right. Like it was kind of like the show. Like we
Yeah.
had a few. Like we met at like 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you were back in my place, but like
Yeah.
too drunk to drive home. But you like,
But I also didn't want to sleep in the same bed with you.
yeah,
So you slept on the floor.
I did. But I'm saying
Sure.
like coming in, whatever. But like in this situation, coming into this house, how would you wrap your head around sleeping in bed?
I mean, I know
Because
it's the
you
game,
yeah.
so it is what it is.
Another thing that I saw was the recurring theme of like the women they always talk about. Did he ask you any questions about you? And
We love a question.
we love a question. Or do you think it's a telltale sign, or do you think it's a lack of awareness? Because Brad talks about himself. Like the person on this show that the women usually talk about is Brad talking about himself. Like Faye, Chloe know it, that he in conversation doesn't talk about
So-
anybody but himself. So like is that, like what do you think? Do you think it's a telltale sign that somebody's interested if they ask you questions about you, or do you think it's a lack of awareness?
So, if I remember correctly, Brad had been in a relationship for 8.5 years
Yeah.
prior to this show. So it could be multiple things. It could be he doesn't really know how to talk to women anymore. Like he doesn't really know how
He
to
been out the game,
yeah.
so he's like an old married man.
Yeah, like he doesn't really know what to say
He's
or what to
24.
ask.
He's 24 and been out of the
But
game. So,
it could be that he's self-centered. It could be that
I think it's he's self-centered.
yeah. But I definitely feel like it's not even if you're interested in somebody, it's just polite
Yeah.
to ask, you know, someone saying, do you have siblings? And then you're like, I have none. And then you just end the conversation. Like, it's polite to say, do you?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a nice thing to do.
And he never does that.
No.
Like he just never, it never clicks to him. To be
Yeah.
like he's like, you interviewing me.
Yeah.
Another question that I wrote down that I wanted to ask you about. When Chugs came back in after the date, like I can't remember whether it was Chloe that asked him or whether it was Cass that asked him, "Are you Mr. Steal Your Girl?" Like, and he's like, "Are you willing to tread on somebody's toes?" And like that's something that I always see people asking, like in this show, but like you realize that like you are here to find love, like even in IRL, like in real life. People talking about like if me and you are out and say I go to the bar to grab you a drink, I'm walking back and I see him talking to you and I'm like, I get it. Like I get him walking up and shooting his shot. You know, he asked you the question, like, hey, I saw a dude walk off, like, was that your man? Cool, that was your man. But still, like, are you,
Do I have a shot?
yeah, do I have a shot? Like, is this, like, that's your man? Yeah.
How much?
How much
How much of your man is
How
it?
much of your man is he? And are you willing to, you know, explore, like, I'm here in front of you with the confidence of saying, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about people who don't give a damn about somebody's situation and shoot their shot anyway?
Like, is that something that, do you think of that person as a villain if they see something that they like and they go for it? Or do you say like, bravo for you for like?
So I think it all depends, because obviously on this show, it's not like other shows in that they sequester you before and you have no access to the outside world, you don't know what's going on the show.
Yeah.
Love Island is a show where the people who are coming on, they know exactly what's happening. They know exactly who likes who, they know exactly who doesn't like who, they know exactly the history of all the couples.
Yeah.
And
you can see who you want to target yourself, like who you see their personality develop, and you can
So I think it depends, because if we're at a club and some girl comes up to you, like, she doesn't know me presumably she doesn't know me at all. She doesn't know who I am, she doesn't know who you are. So if she comes up to you, like, I'm kind of flattered, like, I'm not, because I'm not worried about it.
Right.
It's just, that's kind of flattering. But if a girl knows us and kind of targets you, I feel like that's a little different.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Love Island is because the people know going in what the history is.
Right.
So if they target someone who they think is in a couple, an established couple,
Right.
then that is kind of villain-like. However, it is the show.
Yeah.
And they don't really, it's not like they've been together for 10 years. Like, they've been together for 5 days.
I just don't think that we don't reward those folks enough who take those shots to say, like, look, she is in the thing. And, like, I see why this guy likes her, obviously, because, like, he's been with her for the past 3 days. Like, they seem pretty tight-knit. But I see the same thing that he sees. So let me go in there and see if maybe I fit the mold or I'm her type more so than he is. Mm-hmm. And I want to see if, if we hit it off like they hit it off.
I have 2 key takeaways from what you just said.
Okay.
So one is that this show isn't as much about the actual coupling as it is about the potentiality of the couple, because we see these edited clips of all these couples and the public isn't voting on who's the actual couple that's the most compatible with each other. They're voting on who's the cutest, who they seem to have the most potential, because again, it's been 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is an actual couple. Secondly, it's the idea of people as property and your significant other as yours and land to be treaded upon.
Right.
Like it's your land.
It is legit Columbus and sail the ocean in 1492, like America. Me.
Yes.
Like me, I just got here.
Yes.
I discovered this.
Yes.
And so I hate that aspect of, but it makes for good conflict, is that conflict of, well, I believe I can shoot my shot. Well, I believe if you see somebody in a 3-day relationship, you should let it be and let it flourish. Yeah, it's just that I think that's an ongoing conversation of like how people feel about that planting your flag and having that ownership over a person that you really don't have any, like, there isn't even a contract between y'all that says, hey, we're married or anything like that.
Even then, I did have to go ahead.
Go ahead. You said you had 2 points, yeah.
Well, those are my 2 points. It's people as property and then the potentiality of couples more so than the actual couple. Mm-hmm. But I also just wanted to say that point about coming into the house and gunning after somebody.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it is harsh, like the public is harsher on women who do that, or is harsher on men who do that?
I think they are harsher on women.
100%.
But that's another larger conversation.
That's a larger conversation. But another flip of the coin is established couples.
All right.
If a bombshell comes in that tempts someone, are they harder in the couple? Are they harder on the men who are tempted by the bombshell, are they harder on
Oh,
the woman?
yeah, because that's usually what happens in
Yeah. And I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Can I give you my theory?
Yeah.
Initially, more women watch the show than men. Who's cheated on more often, women or men?
Okay. Women.
You watching this show and you're in a committed relationship on this show. A woman a bombshell comes in, a man leaves. Most of the people who watch the show, women, they like, same thing happened to me. Like, this is my man let me go to blah blah blah, and they vote and they like.
But I also feel
remember,
like in general,
in season, I think it might have been season 6, series 6, Michael and Amber. That one dude, he was the last dude to come in, and they ended up winning the show because they felt so bad for Amber. Despite Michael. They voted for her to win the show. Dude was the last dude to come in. He got with his girl, and he's like, I just got 25 grand, and he did nothing. Amber went through all that hard. Yeah, he came in there with all the chapstick on in that final episode. And he literally did nothing. He came in and he was nice for 3 episodes, and he walked out of there with 25 pounds.
But I feel like that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah. Are you attracted to the personality version or the of yourself? Like, if I was to mirror your personality as a man, would you want to be in a relationship with me?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think that would do well. Like, you know two people who don't get along because they're too much alike.
Yeah. And they are the same sex.
Yeah. But like, they're not even, you can't even be friends with someone who's just like you. There's no way you're gonna be able to be partners with someone who's just like you.
And that's the thing, is like, I don't think I would like the
We're not similar.
Right. Which is, I think, why we work.
Yeah.
Like, we are dissimilar in so many, like, personality. We like some of the same things.
Yeah.
But
we have some similar goals.
So I could not have sex with, be in a relationship with somebody that was like me, because we would be living in a cardboard box. I'm not poking fun at homeless people, but
no.
Like, not at all. But like,
So I feel like this episode was a little bit longer than we expected, and it might be a little long, but I feel like it has a lot of good conversations about what's going on so far. We also have guests coming to our house, so we need to go. And we're supposed to be somewhere an hour ago, but okay. Thanks again to everyone watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. We really appreciate everyone that is supporting us so far.
Yeah, thank you. Like, it was unexpected.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do a whole lot of promotion. But thank you for the feedbacks thus far.
We'll see what Rachel decides to do.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Show and tell us.
Show and tell us. Cheers. A show about coordinating conflict in the game of cat. God. Welcome to Show and Tell, a game about. Other important highlights. Sharon says that she's starting to feel feelings for Aaron after they've kissed twice in the game.
I see you, Aaron. With that thing on the butt, she said, I'm starting to kiss
that mouth.
She put that mouth on her.